You're welcome back to the show. It's still the AM Chat Show, and we're in the third segment of the program where we have the discussion program. And today we're talking about the dwindling value of the Naira, the causes, the effects, and the panacea. Sometime last week, the President Muhammadu Buhari at the African for Growth Summit in Egypt reiterated for the 18th time that he will not devalue the Naira. And that same week, the Naira went to an all-time low of 400 Naira to $1. For ordinary Nigerians, these bites harder than it is, as essential foods like food and education, are things that we no longer can afford. And also, high-end goods also have skyrocketed. Now the question is, how did the Naira lose its sheen? How did we get here? To have this conversation with us, we still have Prince Eshiet in the house with us.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome once again. And then we have Mr. Ibude Moses, who's the Chairman, Consumer Rights, Awareness, Advancement and Advocacy Initiative. I think I got that right.
Yeah, thank
You're welcome once again.
It's a very long name.
So, gentlemen, I'm going to throw it right out. I have two questions to open this. And now, the President's constant resistance to the devaluation of the Naira. Is this a resistance without a strategy? 1. 2. How did the Naira lose its sheen? How did we get here?
One at a time. Okay, first of all, you answer the question, number one question. I would say he's resistant. He's trying to say yes. Answer to is yes. Because when you decide that you don't want to devalue, and you don't have that capacity to fund it, this will happen. And the moment you have decided to regulate it, forex, it still happen. Now, another way is that, what are you doing? What are your short-term plan? What are your medium-term plan? What are your long-term plan to address the issue? It is not there. So there is a spirit of uncertainty on the air. And where there is uncertainty, there is speculation. And when there is speculation, the prices go up. And that is exactly what is happening.
Well, if you look at it, Prince, the major challenge, which a lot of analysts have argued, is that we need to close our doors and look inward and start planning. First of all, we must be a very powerful producing nation, not a consumer nation. I think that is where the fundamental problem is.
You see, like you rightly said, we have some problems that we need to address. You see, for me, it is not just the issue of saying, let us devalue. If you devalue the Naira right now, to what value? That's a question. Now, how did we get here? We allowed the economy to run on a mono product, which was oil. And now we are having problems. And predominantly, we ended up being a consumer nation. And this, a consumer nation, not that we are consuming what we produce internally, but we consume mostly what is produced outside. And that also affected, in fact, that also put lots of pressure on the Naira and even on the dollar. So, in that circumstance, the dollars will definitely have to go up. Now, for us, first, we have to look at the short-term measure, long-term measure, or even medium-term measure. For a short term, what can we do? Now, for now, it is still being regulated, and that is why you fix, okay, officially it is 196 or 197 or 198, but then you cannot get it even at 300. There is a wide margin, and once there is that kind of wide margin, people will speculate the more in order to make more profit. So there are certain things that the government needs to iron out. Don't over-regulate that system. Allow certain forces to also regulate. Put some restraints. I see no reason why we should import everything. There are certain things that you should not use our forex to fund, while you also encourage the development of the real sector. Because we are talking about being a producing nation. You cannot be a producing nation when you don't start the process of being a producing nation. So we need to start building that real sector. That is the sector that adds real value and also shows up your local currency. For now, we are just shouting and screaming, we should devalue, we should not devalue. I mean, we should look at the nitty-gritty of...
The IMF boss was in Nigeria, and there were a lot of speculations that there were certain conditions expected from Nigeria.
Yeah.
And of course, the woman said, no, we're not asking Nigeria to whatever. Immediately she left, the government began to tinker with certain strategies.
Yes.
So you begin to wonder, because there's this impression that the IMF seems to know that this is going to happen. And you wonder why they did not tell the government.
No. You see, and another thing we have to understand is that there are certain meetings that are not made public. What was discussed. IMF would not like to come in the public domain and tell you everything
exactly
that is
what mission
president. Exactly. Now, they will tell you, we have come, we have seen, all right, we can help in these areas and in these areas in advisory capacities and the rest. They will not tell you the recommendations that they gave to the government. Those ones are private. The issue is this. Look at it this way. You need services. You need funding. You are asking for foreign direct investment. That means you are in dire need. And at the same time, you are controlling how much is the value of what people will bring in. You are likely not to have so many investors. So it is a very technical and dicey issue.
That might even open up room for speculation.
Because you are more or less like a beggar. So you cannot be a beggar and at the same time you are dictating the terms and the conditions. You must make some compromises one way or
Mr.
another.
Sheikh, do you think the CBN should be a major player in this whole dollar vis-a-vis now?
Of course, it is the responsibility of the CBN.
Regulating even at a
It
200 Naira deficit as it is right now.
See, let us be very, very factual. CBN is responsible for monetary policies. They are the regulatory agency. They are the ones that are supposed to take care of all this. The market forces and know
Is it that
when to
they
show
have
up.
lost of what to do or what?
Because if they are fixing it at 199 Naira.
You see, please, I don't always like to castigate our institutions without adequate facts. I don't always like to. It may not be because they don't know what to do. It may also be because we don't get to know more of what they do by way of publicity. But I wouldn't want to sit down here and castigate anybody that he has not done anything. But the only thing is that we are in a very challenging time and urgent actions are needed and more should be done than had been done before.
Mr. Moses, because remember, I'm sure you've gone to the market, possibly to buy vegetable. It becomes very expensive. The old man will tell you, dollar has gone up. I don't understand. Does dollar going up or no? The Naira dwindling, does it affect vegetable? The point I'm trying to make is that with what has happened now, is it going to definitely have a rippling effect on other purchases in the Nigerian market?
All right, the question you are asking me is something that have happened. You go to the market now, if you go there immediately that I want to buy something.
Not imported goods anyway.
Anything, it will tell you that is okay, this is the price, 10 Naira. When you come back next time, you say, it have increased to 20 Naira, and that is the price, you can't buy. That is what is going on now. Now when you now say, this person is a local woman who is selling vegetable to another. This same person is buying from other people. At the moment he's buying from other people, what happened? That person have to increase his own price in order to what? To meet up what? Yes. That is exactly what's happening. Now the question is that I don't want to devalue the Naira. And you have certain things now. It's not going to. It was 42, but I just read that it's 43 now because we want to include school fees now because they give laxity for that is what they give them opportunity to pay, but people are now tripping it. send it abroad, you bring it back again. So that is the reason why they are blocking it now. It's 43 items. Now, these 42 items, they are not banned. People import them to the country. That is their business. But categorically, you are telling these people not to do business again. But these people must not what? Stop their business. So they will source for those foreign estates and import them and bring them to the country. And when they bring them, they are being sold in a very high price. Is that also? And people, those local people who are selling, producing Nigerian things and all that, they are buying the market. So definitely, these things have already gone up. You can't. Let me tell you, the other day I bought the paper, the printing paper. That is A4 size paper. It was being sold that time 700, 750. But now it's being sold 1,200, 1,300. And people are printing. What happened? So you go to the other electronic shop, the same to you, anywhere you are going at. So it's a spirit of uncertainty. Nobody knows what the direction we are going. Nobody knows how are we going to go about it. And the government of the day is not telling us the direction to follow. Okay, fine. The only thing they are telling us now, okay, no problem. We want local production. We should do things locally. Are you engaging them? Are you telling us, okay, can even in the actual fact that if we want to go on board production, is it possible that even him spending 8 years, for instance, to achieve that, he can achieve it? The effect we are seeing today, whatever we are doing today, was the previous government. Anything we are enjoying, light, whatever, because we have not seen even the road. They have not started anything. They are still putting their ass together. That is the fact of the matter. So right now is that how we concur with the Lord Prof. Wale, that we need an urgent emergency economic work conference, where now, as we are saying, is a change, that we are going to start things newly. The people, stakeholders, all the stakeholders will sit down. Okay, fine. We can't continue the way we are now. We can't be an importing, servicing economy. We must be a manufacturing company, a production company. In that reason, or for that reason, we must sit down to say, okay, how are we going to achieve this in the next 2 years, in the next 4 years?
Kind of a developmental
plan of 4 or 5 years. That is, okay, now this is the sector, this is how we are going to do it, but this sector is what we are going to focus on now, this sector we are going to focus on now, this sector we are going to focus on now, in the period, so that you have to get the Senate and the National Assembly involved, so that after that process of law conference, whatever comes out, they should make it a law. Even if it is PDP that come in, it should work around that circle of law, so that people can checkmate it. The human Nigerians to get involved. When a government of the day is trying to move away, you say, no, this is the way we are going to go about it.
There must be some kind of continuity.
Yes, a continuity around the process. So policy inconsistency, some sort will be reduced, because that is one of the major problems. Now, I will also advise. What in economics, what we know, we have what is called a competitive advantage. What do we have? We have two things to our advantage. One, we have labor, that is the human capital. Huge, unemployed. The majority of them are unemployed. We have land. So definitely we are talking about what? Agric now. So the government of the day should focus more on that agric now. That is where they can go now. So that immediately you will see the effect. You can grow maize, you can grow tomatoes, you can grow plantain. Those ones are within 6-7 months, all these things will see the effect. Now, that is one. And that their focus should be, we should feed ourselves. That is, as a country, our target should be that we should feed ourselves. Feeding ourselves means that all the food we need, all Nigerians need to consume, should be produced here. And you see that the effect will come. They will make more impact than to say we are diversifying, we are doing, and you are not following the direct, or you are not giving us the direction to follow. Even the foreign investors you are talking about, you are going all around the globe to look for. They are what are you telling them? Where are they going to fit in It's just that they just bring money. No, there must be a direction. Do we have a direction as of today? I don't think so.
I think yes. I think what we really need to encourage the government to do is to come up with very clear policies in certain areas, and maybe something like development plans, strategies, that we are moving from this to this to this to this, and within this time this is what we need to achieve, and then people will now be able to key in depending on the sector you're talking about. When we are talking about having a conference, yes, I agree there is need for people to talk, there is need for people to bring ideas and then brainstorm and come up with maybe something like a blueprint as to how we can move ahead. But for me, I know fully well that in Nigeria we have never executed any report of any conference before. It would just be a jamboree and a waste of time. And in fact, if the government should do that, it would be more or less like a strategy to buy time. As far as I'm concerned, what we need to do is let the technocrats come up with certain strategic policies. If there is need for the government to invite certain people with other capacities that can help in building, either formulating such policies and the implementations, they can be co-opted in, and then a blueprint is drawn.
All right. I want to ask this question. I read this morning Senator Brent Bruce. You know, he wrote a piece and he said, "Do not blame the Nigerian government, blame the Nigerian people." We've been talking about the government all this while. And in that piece he said, you know, there's some large-scale poultry farmers who can comfortably feed us with chicken and, you know, poultry products. Why then do we still import? Two, we have, you know, appetite for made-in-the-abroad goods. It's so large. Why is the Nigerian people to be blamed in all of it? Let's also remember that the president also said during his speech one time, I think sometime last week, that if you can fund your appetite, you know, you're the one who wants the foreign things, so you can keep exchanging your dollars, your Naira, $40 to, you know, to fund these things. What is wrong with the Nigerian people? Why do we think everything must come from abroad?
You see, first of all, Nigerian people, we Nigerian people, we have to blame ourselves. Because one, the people who are there, who voted for them, they are our representative in court. They are the people supposed to, we are the people to tell them, this is what we want. Right now, what are we saying? What we are saying is that if it is you are a PDP man or APC man, anything that your people are doing is correct. Anybody that criticizes them is your enemy. You look, go on net, you see things, the comments the Nigerians are making, you will be surprised. Educated people making some comments, you will be surprised. So the first thing we need to do, the National Orientation Agency and all that, they are not doing their job. Even the current this man lying Mohammed now, he's not doing his job. The first thing he will have done is a good propagandist, somebody who can do anything, position everything. He's an expert in the job. But he was doing that when he was in opposition. Now he's in what? The main government. All what he needs to do is to say, this is what we are doing. Let them forget about the past government, PDP, what they have done. No. What we are saying, if they do little thing, this is our plan. This is our plan. Nigeria, you must keep it. You must change our system. It's a change thing. We must change. We must change. Made in Nigeria product now. You are encouraging people. You're engaging different people. Now, what do they need to do? Who are those people importing things? Mostly they are what? The traders. I mean, majority of them the traders. Now the manufacturers. Why are the people? Most of these things are industry closing up. The ordinary individual importer can do anything. Go to China, do some standard product. But that is a good manufacturing industry company will not do that, because if he's doing that, they will notice the whole thing, and that industry will collapse. Is that not that company will collapse? So while you are engaging those industry people, you are engaging those individual importers to let them know the importance of what? Consuming local product. Then linking up this same set of people to those industrial people so that they can be their key distributor. It's a gradual process. It's something that can be done gradually. But if you think they are going to do it very overnight, it's not possible.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Everyday said it's a gradual process. And we'll continue the conversation after the break. We'll allow Mr. Prince Eshiet to also react to that particular question when we come back. Stay with us.
Naira, the implications of devaluation of the Naira to the Nigerian economy. Naira devaluation refers to the deliberate lowering of the Naira in relation to other countries' currency within the context of a fixed exchange rate management system. The devaluation of a country's currency is usually triggered when the country is experiencing an adverse balance of payment or balance of trade, BOP or BOT crisis, or by worsening economic conditions transmitted into the domestic economy from the foreign market. Of course, the devaluation of any country's currency will lead to a chain of reactions as related to the state of the economy. Although most of these may not have the intended results, for a largely monolithic economy, one that largely depends on oil, the expectation that a devalued Naira will drive export of local products which do not exist in the required volume for now will create additional burden on the populace. The reason being that the cost of consumables across the board will escalate. When you juxtapose the consequence of an inflation-induced policy on an economy, purchasing power by reason of unemployment, the consequences are better imagined than experienced. No doubt, there is the expectation that the government's revenue in terms of Naira will move up because of the wide exchange rate, disparity between the dollar and the local currency. However, the point must be made that this expectation may be unrealizable of two variables, the falling oil prices and lower crude production aggregate.
All right, you're still on to the discussion segment on AM Chat, and we're taking a look at the current predicament of the Naira, side by side with the dollar. And of course, Mr. Moses Ibrude is still with us, and Prince Eshiet. Okay, Romalia asked a question which Mr. Moses reacted to. We wanted your reaction on this. Is actually the Nigerian people the cause of this whole problem?
I wouldn't like to use the word Nigerian people, but I would like to say the Nigerian nation. In that case, the government and the people. Now, our appetite for foreign goods, once it is tagged, made outside Nigeria, Nigerians will go for it. But if it is made in Nigeria, you see people run away from it. That's very, very bad. And what it means is that you like things coming in from outside. And that is why it's going to take a whole lot of our reserves. Now, on the part of the government, how many of our government institutions are also patronizing made in Nigerian goods when they are doing their own shoppings? How many? So if the government is not encouraging or not supporting made in Nigerian goods, automatically you are telling the people you should also look elsewhere. How many times have you seen any Nigerian leader, like a president, go to visit a small-scale business, small-scale like this, to encourage small-scale activities? You see the likes of President Obama. They will go to one small shop. That is symbolic to create an impression and awareness that, look, government is supportive of private businesses even at the smallest level. We don't do that here in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Prince. There's a fundamental question I need to ask, because at a recent forum here in Lagos, if you remember, Soludo under Obasanjo, or was it Yaradua, wanted to redenominate the Naira to an extent where we will possibly we're going to use coins, okay? And that could possibly would have, to some extent, also given the Naira, because we're talking about the value of our currency. He faced a lot of criticism then from the legislature, from politicians and Nigerians, but some saw the advantage, redenomination of the Naira. Mr. Moses, if we had taken that step, possibly would this have also giving the Naira some level of strength in the international market?
Well, that, thank God, at that time we didn't do it, because whenever you do it, you are trying to manage your currency with the same thing. Ghana did it. What's happening there? The differences, you can see it. In just a short while, you see that thing will widen out. The most fundamental about this thing is this. Let me tell you. It is, what are we doing as a government, as a country, as a nation? Our nation, let me tell you, if the government decided to close the whole border, I'll tell Nigeria, this time around, is a change slogan you brought. We are changing the whole thing. We are starting from the foundation. We are building a new foundation. And this new foundation we are building is on production, is on manufacturing. We are developing our real sector. So everybody will fasten their seatbelt. Let me tell you, they will clap for them. And if they see that they are taking action towards that, let me tell you, in a short while, 10 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, you see that more people, you don't need to travel outside to go and look for foreign investors. The moment you get your policy right, and the people believe that you can do what you are saying, that you are not going to change your mind, you are not going to change your policy, let me tell you, they will bring money. If at all they can do it, that Obasanjo, Buhari, the Obasanjo and Jonathan can, they did it in cement manufacturing. Now we don't. Cement is still, even with this dollar stuff, is still between 1,450, 1,500. Why? It's because that thing is being produced here. So we can do it. It can be done.
You see, another thing we have to understand is that when we're talking about manufacturing or industrialization.
Sorry, we have a call.
We have a caller now. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? You're welcome to the show.
Okay, we lost that.
So you see, when you're talking about industrialization or going into manufacturing, I will not be in support of the government building any industry or building any factory. What you need to do is to create an enabling environment and then create necessary facilities, infrastructures to allow either the international businessmen or Nigerian businessmen to now develop that
tax-free,
tax exemptions depending on whether
custom power supply,
capital intensive. So those are the things.
Okay.
We have a caller. Good morning. Okay, we lost that.
And now, so it is not something you say, all right, in the next 2, 3 years, 4 years, government is going to do this. If you even come up with a propaganda that you want to industrialize it.
Hello, good morning, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay.
You're welcome to the show, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my contribution is this, sir. There are 2 points. Those 2 points. If you are not willing to be interested, and the point is that the power energy has to stop production. Without power energy, nothing is possible to Nigeria. Number 2, the government looks at they are the first behind the escalation of the dollar. Because all what they have looked at, Jonathan are now into this. When they do, they will change it to dollar and export it to the other countries. Those are just the amount of tradition. Before God created anything to this world, the just have to mind. There is nothing God has done in that sense. So, with that mind, the economic can be produced in Nigeria. I want you to observe this.
Thank you very much, sir.
I think a very serious issue there.
You're just talking about infrastructural development.
I said infrastructure. You're talking about all those things: power, roads, telecommunication, and everything. You see, these things have to be in place. Number one, why is it that local industries are folding up? Local companies cannot meet up competitively. It's because the cost of production is higher. The energy cost is high. They have to produce their own energy. And so when you look at that, it becomes a huge budget. Now, if you have power, that is one of the infrastructures that you need for sustainable development. That is one of the infrastructures that you need to stimulate industrialization, to stimulate commercialization, in fact, to stimulate wealth creation. It is centered around it. So that's what I'm saying. It is not as if the government should be building industries or setting up companies. No. If you provide these infrastructures, there is that enabling environment. The businessmen will now be able to do their businesses and they could compete with people outside. In fact, if you do it very well, if you now import, yours will be more costly than what is produced locally. Nigerians will buy that.
Interestingly, during Babangida's administration, hello, okay, we have a caller. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, what's the name and where are you calling from?
My name is Austin Bade from Bayelsa.
Okay, go ahead, Austin.
Yes, I want to hear something on the
Yes.
I want to really know if you have economy or just a selling point for Western investors. Please.
Okay, we didn't get that.
It echoed.
See whether we have an economy. Okay. And what are you selling outside? That is us. We are traveling out now. What are they selling outside?
Okay, we lost
have
that.
an economy.
But I think the point is, what's your reaction? Because it's basically what you've been talking about. But one thing I want us to quickly look at is that during Babangida's administration, he used some of the best technocrats. And we thought that there could have been some level of success during that regime, but it never happened. Now, we come back to the basics. Is it that the Nigerian politicians, because listening to you gentlemen talk, you're talking intelligently, okay, analyzing these issues and all that. Is it that the Nigerian politicians do not just understand the dynamics of the economy and of governance? Is this all about just getting power? Because the bottom line is that they come to power, they make campaign promises. When they get there, we get a different thing entirely.
Fine. Two things happen. It's happening now. One, the politicians are not economists. They are not the people to run, to drive the economy.
Okay.
You see, that is why we need an economic or national.
Is it a summit?
Either summit, maybe
a conference.
I don't know, conference maybe. Why I'm emphasizing on this, supporting the prof, is this. You came in, you say, change. What does change mean? That is to say, the way we are doing things before, we are not going to do it that way. Is that not so?
Yeah.
Now, if that is the basis where you came into power, the first thing you're supposed to do is to work engaged, in quote, everybody, and say two things. One, either we separate the economy from the politics, because what we're having here today is a politics economy. And if you do that, anything that happened during election year, as we saw last year, the whole economy will be granted. But it's possible to separate it. Even while the politicians are playing their politics, the economy is what? It's running out. It's going on fine.
Remember, you understand that there was this economic summit group holding economic summit group every year. Top chief executives, experts. What is it?
For me, holding a conference, whether you call it economic conference, is just going to be a jamboree. That's not what we need. Now, the issue is that the politicians should be sincere and provide effective leadership. The reason why our civil service have been the way they are today is because the political class or the ruling class was always subverting or more or less like not taking them into.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Adiu Siolu. I'm calling from Idiroko border.
You're welcome, Mr. Deusi.
Yeah, I just want to contribute to this program.
Okay. We can hear you.
And hello?
We can hear you.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah. Do you see the issue of this dollar? I think it has been politicized somehow because I don't see why our currency will be falling against dollar every day. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Go ahead.
If you look at China, they have dominated the world by producing series of products. What are those things? Even America, they produce for America. They produce for Britain. Yes, Britain currency is still higher than their own. What are the criteria to determine this difference? So, I think there is some problem that we needed to solve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Deusi. Position to react to that.
He made a very interesting point. How come that the British pound
is still stronger than
the
Chinese yen,
stronger than the euro, stronger than the dollar? Now you go back and look at the structure. Go back and look at the structure of the British economy and how effectively they have been able to manage £1 that they have, and then you will now see the reason why their currency is always at the top. Mostly also, look at even a maritime. Who are the people controlling a maritime? You see, sometimes it is not just you having something in your nation. There are certain other things you can do. For instance, like in Nigeria now, we could be, if we were very conscientious in developing Nigeria, Nigeria would have now been more or less like the hub of Africa.
Okay, Mr. Moses, should we just pull it down to the issue of corruption in this country? We don't have much time anyway. We need to go off on this discussion right now.
Well,
it is a major issue, corruption.
Because I want you to, responding to that, remember the round tripping, and remember that in all that we are saying, even the rich are still able to exchange the 400 naira to $1, still are able to pay their children's school fees. You need to put all that into consideration.
The truth is that corruption, as defined, anything you set in place straight, and this is where we are going, and something utter is corruption. So definitely when you talk of corruption, 90%, 80%, all of us are corrupt. Not necessarily mean that you are stealing government money. So what I'm saying in effect is that, but referring to the government money, let me tell you something. Corruption is all over the world. Every country has it. But the way you manage it. Now when you have a problem of corruption, how do you handle it so that it will be more effective? I am in the school of thought. Don't steal. Don't take our money. But if you must take the money, you must not take it outside the country. So in short, that is the only way. So that if, for example, all these billions of dollars and all that money were not taken out, even if they didn't use it to produce anything, and it's in the vault of any bank, I will tell you the effect it will be. So the first thing is supposed to have done to identify first of all, what do we need to do to curb this corruption? Is it possible if you throw everybody in jail, you will stop corruption? I don't think so. So the best option, you make a law around it. Okay, don't worry, don't steal. But if you must steal, but don't take the money outside the country. And so the law, the penalty of taking the money outside the country should be higher than when you stay. So if, for example, you steal billions of naira and you use it to set up a manufacturing company or doing business, and when you see that this is what is happening, you see that as a government, if we EFCC get to that place, this is what I use it to you even look at that. For me to close down this company, look at the type of people and labor and all that, you will think. You understand?
I think.
Thank you very much.
I think that would. Yes. You see, there is no wrong way of doing a right thing. If you steal, and because you have invested the money in Nigeria, you should be pardoned. No, I won't agree.
I didn't tell you. I'm coming, sir.
Now, the issue is this. If we have identified that corruption, whether that of the hand or of the mind or of the brain, affects what we do in Nigeria, how do we go about it? We should first of all not only be reactive, we should also be proactive. What are those leakages that these corrupt practices drive? If it is in terms of misappropriation of funds or money launderings and the rest, and then you check those, put the system in place and make sure that that system is such that before you can puncture that system to perpetrate that act, it would be very difficult.
Thank you, Prince.
And if you are caught, you must be punished.
Thank you. We quite appreciate your comment. It's been wonderful, and we just hope that the dollar the naira will find a way of edging the dollar in the next few months.
No, I know this conversation is not over. We're still going to keep talking about it. So this is not an end to this conversation. We will have topics over the weeks, just treating this issue.
Definitely. So AM Chat will continue. I understand our life coach is around, and we'll be taking him out of the stomach.